Good morning, everybody. This is John Scarborough doing a little cattle move here real quick. We're just going to move them across this driveway. Calves are looking happy this evening. This is the spot we always have to move them across. We put a truck or something right here. Sometimes I'll put a four-wheeler just to keep them from going out on the road. Usually they'll barrel on right across, but every now and then they'll go up this driveway and try to graze that. So if I got a truck sitting here, then I don't have to worry about them getting out. And then I can just stand over here. A few of them come out. I don't worry too much about it as long as one or two is going that way, and I can just kind of control the situation. Biggest thing with cows is, you know, and really animals period, is to be the least stressed out in the herd. Okay, so like with cattle and things like that, it's easy to get stressed out, and especially if things kind of start going, they're not quite going how you want them to go. And I'm not going to say that you can just get rid of that and not ever get stressed out. But what I am going to say is that you need to be the least stressed out. Okay, and the reason for that is they can sense your stress, your stress level. The lower your stress, the better they're going to be, the calmer they're going to be. And a lot of times, if they're calm, they'll do what you want them to do. It might not happen in your time. It might not happen exactly the way you want it to happen, but they'll do what you want to do, what you want them to do, if you'll remain calm. What I wanted to do a little bit this morning is talk about, or this evening actually, is talk about this little strip here. I don't remember if I put out any videos on this strip or not. We had actually intensely mobbed graze when we were still feeding hay. We started right around that tree, and we kind of necked down. We cornered, and you can tell right where the yellow flowers are. That's where we were, and we came to that corner, and then we turned real tight and went all the way up to that water trough. And we actually weren't grazing this very tight, and every time we'd make the rotation into here, we would leave them very intensely for like 2 to 3 days right here, and we would unroll hay. We didn't starve them, made sure that they had plenty hay. And the reason is this spot every year, this was a hay pasture before. Last year we did cut a little hay off because we had to catch up on the growing. It was growing too fast. So we went ahead and cut some hay. But there's a little wet area right in here. And so that never got cut by hay. You know, the hay never got cut there. And then there's a culvert that comes through right there. And so they just, you know, they would just take the tractors through and kind of come around that corner. So this spot was just absolutely covered up in weeds, and it was just the whole place looked, the whole little spot looked awful, and it was just it just looked like it got to where it wasn't getting the nutrition. And I think part of that is even though yes, it wasn't getting cut, the hay wasn't getting cut off over there, when they were cutting the hay, they were still adding litter back on it. So they didn't put as much litter over here because of that. But then the grass, the quality of the grass was worse and worse here, and the cattle just wouldn't come in here to graze it, and it just didn't hardly get any litter back on it. So anyway, long story short, we unrolled several bales in there, and every time we would come through, we would just basically mob them in there for, sometimes it was just a day, but sometimes it would 2 or 3 days, where it would be several bales, and let them, basically just however long it took them to eat those bales. If it was real cold, it only took them a day. If it wasn't real cold, it might take them a day or so. So we'd let them finish eating all the hay, trample it in, get it all knocked in, and then we'd open that wire, let them out, let them have the rest of it, and then leave them out there and the rest of it for however long, and then get them moving. But every time we made our rotation back in here, we would do that. And so I just kind of wanted to show what it kind of turned back into. It's still, I mean, those yellow flowers, that's kind of all coming up in here. You can tell that's different. That may end up being a weed. It may be something that they, if I understand it right, I think it's got a high protein in it, but it's not necessarily something that they enjoy eating. So we'll see how they react to it. The grass is growing fast enough that I'm not going to run a wire there, because ordinarily I would run a wire, make them a little bit tighter, force them to trample that. But the grass is growing so fast, just all of a sudden it flipped a switch on me, because it was growing really slow, and it's flipped a switch and it's growing really fast. So I think we're gonna have to make a real fast pass around the farm And then after that, I got a feeling it's going to dry up, and we're going to start seeing much slower growth. So I've got to make a fast pass and get as much, leave as much growth as I can, and let as much regrow as I can. So hopefully I'll get some videos out on some of that. So anyway, so I won't be mobbing that because of that scenario. But we're going to see how they react to it. Maybe I'll show an update. If they graze it and they do a decent job grazing it, I might do a YouTube short and do a little update on that. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to show this. I think this has turned out real good. The ryegrass is a bit stemmy, and that usually means it's under stress or something. It's not the best environment, but it's not full of weeds, and it looks pretty good. So I would love to show a little bit more the difference this summer, how it looks, and kind of show y'all some more videos. So anyway, guys, it's a really pretty evening. The cows are definitely looking like they are ready to move. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here and get them girls moved before they get antsy on me. Anyway, like and subscribe.